Good morning. This is Chris from RBA News. Thank you. Welcome for coming in. Today's episode, Monday, September 22nd, 2025, is the weekend roundup. We're going to go through all the stories that happened over the weekend, just cover what happened, and give you the news straight up. No filter, my own opinion. Let's get into it. From Fox News, Charlie Kirk's memorial service taking place at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Charlie Kirk, conservative, activist, and founder of Turning Point USA, a well known nonprofit organization, was tragically assassinated on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Thousands of people are expected to attend memorial services for Kirk today at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. So this was yesterday. This took place Sunday. I'm not sure if you watched it. If you did see the. It was all day. It was multiple hours. There were many beautiful tributes and many great speeches given by people like Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio, President Trump, of course, and a very moving speech, which we will see a snippet of later, from Erica Kirk honoring her husband and doing something really brave that I kind of thought she would do, just because I know the kind of people that her and her husband are. And I know that this is something that God would want. But yeah, we'll touch on that in a second. Trump praises Eric Kirk's strength and poise following emotional memorial speech. President Donald Trump met with press aboard Marine One shortly after Sunday's emotional memorial service for Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Trump offered heartfelt words of support for Kirk's widow Erica during a brief Q&A session when he asked about a private moment he shared with her after the event. Quote, "I've gotten to know her over the years. She's great," Trump said. "You know, Charlie always used to say, 'She's smart.' He would always say that. You don't necessarily say that about a lot of people, but he always felt that." End quote. Trump also spoke about Erica's character and resilience in the wake of the tragedy. She's got a lot of, quote, "She's got a good heart, and she's got a shot at making it even more special when you think about it. She's going to do good. I think she's going to do a good job," Trump said. That's a hard thing to say. You know, it's one thing to make a speech, for her to make that speech, because they had a really good relationship, end quote. Yep, Trump, he knew them, and you might see people out there who are saying that he's only doing this for political points. He's only doing this to make himself look better. Say whatever you want about the man. He knew them. He was friends with Charlie Kirk. He's known Charlie Kirk since he was a kid in 2016. Again, Charlie Kirk was only 31. That was a decade ago. When he was 20, he was a little kid. So anyone saying Trump's doing this to get points, no, I think this is just who Trump is. Trump just acts the way he acts because that's who he is. Trump and Turning Point USA will carry Charlie Kirk's torch. President Donald Trump told reporters while traveling back to Washington, D.C., following Charlie Kirk's memorial service in Arizona, that the movement built by the activist is too strong to fade. That's true. It's huge. It's massive, and it's blowing up because of this. Trump vowed that Turning Point USA will play a central role in carrying out Kirk's faith and vision. When asked, he reports that he and his team will work to ensure Kirk's mission is continued over the next 3 years. And the reason why it's specifically 3 years is because he only has 3 more years in his term. That's why it's specific. If you're wondering, and I'm sure he will support them beyond that in any way that he can as a civilian. Well, I think it's going to be automatic, actually. And I think Turning Point is going to be a very big factor, Trump said. You see the people? The press reported 200,000 because there were different areas, different stadiums, a lot of people. That's an NFL stadium, end quote. Yeah, the wording there was a little awkward, but I think that was just because it's direct quoted, unlike when CNN or MSNBC quote Joe Biden, they cut out all his, who, they cut all that stuff out. With Trump, they, especially post millennial, and Fox and a few others, they just don't cut things out. They give you the exact quote, and sometimes it's pretty funny. and sometimes it's awkward. Trump also praised the organization, saying it's a testament to Kirk's leadership and to the energy of young conservatives across the U.S. Quote, I think it's going to be automatic. Okay, we already read that part. White House says Charlie Kirk Memorial aired on every major network. That's huge. That's really huge, actually. CNN, yeah, you can see CNN. Can't see. There, it's too small to see anything else. But no, if it's nationwide, that's insane. Every single network across America and many around the world are taking this revival live. It's a revival. If you guys saw it, if you guys watched it over the weekend on Sunday, yesterday, it's a revival. This isn't just a movement. This is the spirit of the Lord coming back to this country in a big way. And say what you want, you know, when the Lord acts, he acts pretty big. White House says Charlie Kirk Memorial aired on every major U.S. network. You can see here from Stephen Chung, every single network across America and many around the world are taking this revival live, which is amazing. If you guys saw it over the weekend, if you saw it yesterday, you can tell this isn't just a memorial for Kirk. This wasn't just a memorial for Kirk. This is a revival. The Spirit of the Lord is coming back into this country in a very big way, and I'm here for it. I've cried several times watching the coverage yesterday. It was very touching, moving, and you can just feel God at work, and it's really special. White House Communications Director Stephen Chung said Charlie Kirk Memorial aired on every major U.S. network Sunday, describing the event as a revival, which is what it is. He also posted a collage on X showing Erica Kirk appearing on networks across the country. The outlets include Fox News, CNN, ABC News, C-SPAN, News Nation, Newsmax, and MSNBC, or MS Now, isn't it? Something like that. Among others. Quote, every single network across America and many around the world are taking this revival. Chung wrote for Charlie Kirk. Amen, brother. White House shares powerful image of Erica Kirk at Charlie Kirk Memorial. That's very sweet. That's very, very sweet. America is with you. Erica Kirk. That's special. That's very special. The White House shared an image of Erica Kirk, wife of the late Turning Point USA CEO Charlie Kirk, speaking at his memorial at a packed State Farm Arena in Arizona on Sunday. The photo shows Erica Kirk from behind, appearing to pray before stepping to the podium to address the massive crowd. Quote, America is with you, Miss Erica Kirk, the White House said in its post. In her remark, Kirk recalled advice from Second Lady Usha Vance that she said has helped her endure her grief. If you don't recall what she said the advice was, grief is very much like being on a plane with a crying child. You know, it can seem unbearable. It can seem like it takes forever. You have to take it 15 minutes at a time. You know, in 15 minutes, you're going to be off the plane. Things are going to be okay. And she said that really helped her and actually gave her the ability to even speak in front of, I don't know how, even 12 days out or 11 days out at the time, that she was able to give the speech that she gave. Not to mention her speech the second, 2 days after. The strength this woman has is something that, it feels biblical. It's as if a biblical strength is in this woman, and I couldn't put it in any better way. But we're actually going to cut over to a snippet of her speech that I found extremely moving and powerful. This was the moment where she actually forgave Kirk's assassin. Play cut one.
My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. that young man. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
I don't know if I could have the strength to do what she did. She forgave. She forgave the man who killed her husband 11 days ago at the time. That is the cornerstone of Christianity. Jesus paid the ultimate price. For in a world with a just God, a God of justice, how can we not get punished for the evil we do against him? In all religions, you trade your evil for a sacrifice, for a replacement, for something that is sinless to take on your sin so that you can give it to God and ask for forgiveness. But we do evil every day. Humans at our core are very evil. And not the evil as in the boogeyman. No, evil as in out for oneself. That leads people to do evil things. So God veiled himself in flesh, came down as a man, lived a sinless life, and then offered himself up as that sacrifice. For what greater sacrifice than the God of the universe? That's like an infinite blank check. Not to excuse your sin, to make it easier to sin, but to say, hey, you're not perfect. You aren't Jesus. You aren't God. You're going to fail. But I, my child, will take that for you. I will punish myself for you because he loves us so much. And a lot of people hate Christianity. They do. But they don't know a thing about Christianity. Sure, the church has done awful things in the past, and I don't excuse that. I think it was wrong. But if you look at it in the context of history, humans were very wrong. Humans are still wrong. We've done a really good job since then, you know, if you look at how far we've come in the past 2,000 years. But we still need God. And that's something that when you rip out, you try to replace it with anything. Communism, oneself, narcissism. People lift those up on pedestals as their God, their golden calf in replacement of the one true God. But it never works. Anyway, the memorial was special. It was touching. And if you get a chance, please, I encourage you to watch it because it was a revival. And the spirit of revival is in this country, and I couldn't be happier. Moving to the rest of the news for this weekly roundup. For this weekend roundup. Next story I have here is California Governor Newsom signs bill to stop ICE agents from wearing masks. He can't do that. I'm just going to cut to the chase. He can't do that. It's federal. He wants to act like he's doing something so then he can, use that when he runs in 2028 for president. And please, America, don't vote for him. This guy's a slime ball. He's been governor of California for as long as I can remember. And every single promise that he makes, he breaks. He was supposed to solve homelessness a decade ago. That's worse than ever. So yeah. California has become the first state to ban federal immigration agents from concealing their identities with masks after Governor Gavin Newsom signed a package of bills over the weekend. The new laws will make it so law enforcement and immigration officers to remain identifiable by either name or badge number, with masks only allowed when absolutely necessary. End quote. They also restrict immigration enforcement inside classrooms and hospitals. Families will also now have to be notified if immigration officials plan to visit a school. Emergency rooms and other non public areas in hospitals are considered off limits without a warrant or court order. Newsom's office said the measures were aimed at limiting the reach of immigration and customs enforcement in California. Quote, ICE agents have wrongfully arrested citizens when? When? Please name one. If you know one, name it down below. Maybe I'm just misinformed. So please. Who? And it's just really funny. He wants all ICE, anyone who works for ICE not to have a mask and conceal their identity. Do you know why he wants that? An inkling? Yeah, because he wants them to be threatened. He wants them to know that if they try to enforce our laws and make sure that people who aren't here legally go back to where they came from, he wants them to be hurt. He wants them to get in trouble. He wants people who might do crazy things to know who's working for ICE. And that's dangerous. Good thing that none of these laws that he signed mean anything, actually. So, because he can't regulate the federal government. He just thinks he's so cool. It's cringe. And you can't limit where ICE is. And having to notify them before coming, sorry, we're not going to give them a heads up so they can run away. Sorry. The governor added, quote, our places of learning and healing must never be turned into the hunting grounds this federal administration has tried to make them out to be. They're not hunting grounds, bro. If you have illegal aliens there, we need to come get them. Period. And we need to send them home. The American people voted for this. As a whole, wasn't one state. All of us voted for this. Not every single American, but we won the popular vote, boy. The popular vote is demanding this. The country is done. The world is done with unfettered, illegal, and legal immigration. If you don't want to assimilate into our culture, you can leave. You can get out. We will not sacrifice our culture to be nice to someone from another place who doesn't belong here, who doesn't want to immigrate here. They don't want to become American. They want to stay whoever they were in their country and bring their country with them. That's not happening. Not anymore. Though the state made clear that the new laws require, officials have not yet explained how they plan to enforce the rules against a federal agency, because they can't. They cannot. This is just another feather in Gavin Newsom's hat for election in 2028. That's it. That's it. It's another thing he can say that he did while he's running for president. The signing came hours after Newsom post on X suggests Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was about to have, quote, a bad day. With acting U.S. Attorney Bill Asili, I hope I pronounced that correct, saying he had referred the post to the Secret Service for review, as it should be done. We can't tolerate that anymore. That kind of rhetoric from Democrats is getting out of hand. Period. They're the reason Charlie Kirk died. Calling people a Nazi and saying it's okay to kill Nazis for a decade, someone's going to eventually do something crazy. And yeah, that's on liberals. That's on the left. Sorry, you did this. Next story. Elon Musk blasts Kamala Harris for hypocrisy on free speech amid Kimmel fallout. Reposts her old Trump ban tweet. Quote, let's be honest, at Real Donald Trump Twitter account should be suspended, Harris previously wrote. Because the left don't have morals. They don't. They don't have values. They will say whatever they need to say. They will do whatever they need to do in order to shut you up and to get reelected. So they'll do whatever they need to shut you up, but they'll also do whatever they need to win an election. But they're liars. And we all know this. Elon Musk blasted Kamala Harris' past push to ban President Donald Trump from Twitter after the former vice president criticized the indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's late night show, calling it an attack on free speech, which it's not. Harris spoke out after Disney pulled Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely. In a post on X, she said, "What we are witnessing is an outright abuse of power. This administration is attacking critics and using fear as a weapon to silence anyone who would speak out. Media correspondents from television networks." That's what she sounds like. This is insanity. This is insanity, and I hope you people realize that. This is all bullshit. It's all the same kind of bullshit that you'll see from every single Democrat. You know, they're saying that this administration is attacking critics and using fear as a weapon to silence anyone who would speak out. Media corporations, from television networks to newspapers, are capitulating to these threats. I'm sorry. You mean what you and Biden did for 4 years? The Twitter files? Do you think we all forgot about that? Do you think we all just kind of memory hold it? No, we just kind of filed that away. And none of these lies are going to hide you. They're not going to protect you because the internet's forever. And we have everything you've ever said on the internet. She added, "We cannot dare to be silent for complacent in the face of this frontal assault on free speech. We the people deserve better." I'm sorry, don't quote the Constitution to me. We the people. This is an asshole, sorry for cussing, an asshole lied about Charlie Kirk on national television and then made disparaging jokes when the only thing that he should be doing is saying, hey, this is a tragic event in our history, in our country. We should not condone this violence. We should decry it. We should shout it down at every turn. We should come together and say Charlie Kirk should not have died. He was a loving husband and father. He was a conservative activist and a voice to millions. But no, because he's on the other team, we're going to make jokes. If anyone on the right made a joke about anyone on the left dying, they get shouted down by both the right and the left. But when the left does something violent, the right shouts it down and the left goes, well, we're going to make excuses and we're going to come up with some random wibbly words that mean nothing. And we're going to try to make you feel better without actually helping or taking any responsibility for the actions of somebody who was probably driven to do this by Democrat talking points. I'm sorry, he had a tranny girlfriend. It was a boy, it was a man. He's not a right-winger. Period. Evidence does not point that way at all. Bella ciao, catch fascist. Notice bulge ulu? No. Refused. Denied. Musk respond by resurfacing one of Harris's own posts from 2019 when she was a California senator. At the time, she wrote, quote, "Let's be honest, Donald Trump's Twitter account should be suspended." Musk reposted that message on Friday with a thinking face emoji. Because he gets it, man. Kimmel's suspension came under a week after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That double after really messed me up there. Quote, "We hit some new lows over the weekend." We covered Kimmel's comment, but this is the lie. I had a conversation with my brother. He didn't believe me. My brother's still getting there, guys. We're still getting there. But this is the part that he refused to apologize for, make a apology statement, which newsrooms, he is news. He may be a news commentary comedy show, but he's news, reported. He reports things to people. And if he frames it as the truth, dumb people, are going to believe him. So with 1.6 million people watching, yes, the studio needed to take action. They did. They went to him. They asked him to make a statement, which every broadcast news channel will do, a retraction. Say, hey, he wasn't MAGA. His political history, just looking at his political history alone, not even the evidence in the case itself. Oh, this one was a liberal or leftist. So we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. That is an outright lie. It's a lie by omission, saying both the left and the right were trying to denounce this man. The right was only doing it because the left was saying he was a right-winger. And stupid people will believe that. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, has been questioned over its role. FCC Chair Brennan Carr defended the decision during an appearance on Fox News, noting that broadcasters are different than any other form of communication. Yes, they are. Absolutely. Senator Cruz also weighed in, warning conservatives that setting such a precedent could backfire, while saying Kimmel had misled the public. Okay, so he's saying that he lied, but that we need to be careful and not punish him for those lies because the Democrats might use institutional power against the right, which is what they've been doing for the past 4 years. So you mean the precedent that the left set is what we're doing now? Okay, got it. That's what you should have said. I'm sorry, liberals. You started this. You did this. Now we're in power. And elections have consequences, as Obama famously said. All right, and the next story. Trump imposes $100,000 annual fee on HB1 visa applicants. So this is huge. This is a massive one. If you guys don't understand or know anything about H-1B, basically a company will say, hey, we need skilled labor. We can't find it here in America. We're going to bring someone from India, from China, from Taiwan, from wherever in order to fill that role because we need that special someone. But much like everything else in the government, it's been abused heavily. And let's see what President Trump had to say. Quote, "We need great workers, and this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen." And the reason why that's going to happen is because a company would really need somebody if they're willing to just pay $100,000 up front to secure them an H-1B visa. So it's no longer just being given out willy-nilly. I've seen reports of people, and I shit you not, who've been given an H-1B visa to work at a 7-Eleven. That's how abused our H-1B system is. President Donald Trump signed an executive order Friday imposing a new annual fee of $100,000 on H-1B visa applicants. The White House said the program, designed to bring in highly skilled temporary workers, has been, quote, deliberately exploited to replace rather than supplement American workers with lower paid, lower skilled labor, end quote. And it's 100% true. Companies have been abusing H-1B visas and giving them out to people that they can pay lower. And then if that person is upset with their job or the rate of pay, they have that above them where they can say, okay, well, we won't sponsor your visa then, and you'll have to go home. That's how this has been abused. So now, with a $100,000 entry fee period, you have to pay that before you even pay the guy, or the person you bring in, whoever it is, male, female, doesn't matter. So now, it's really going to only be used when they absolutely need to supplement American workers. I do not care. We should be picking people here at home and giving them jobs rather than people from other countries. I don't care, end full stop. We need to care about Americans again. And why are we the only country that has to care about the rest of the world and accept anyone who wants to come here? No, we don't. I don't want you in my house. You're a vagrant. I don't want you here. You're not willing to assimilate into our culture? Well, then goodbye. See you later. See you never, actually. The order argued that widespread abuse of H-1B visas has suppressed wages and displaced U.S. employees, particularly in critical science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM fields. Science, technology, engineering, math, STEM. If you didn't know what STEM meant, that's what STEM meant. That's what STEM means, if you didn't know what that meant. Okay. Quote, we need great workers, and this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen, Trump said in the Oval Office. The order, effective September 21st, bars entry under the H-1B program unless the payment is received. According to the administration, the number of foreign STEM workers in the U.S. more than doubled from 1.2 million in 2000 to nearly 2.5 million in 2019, while overall STEM employment grew 44.5%. In computer and math occupations, the foreign share of the workforce rose from 17.7% to 26.1% during that period. That's insane. That is massive. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the measure is intended to pressure companies to prioritize American workers over foreign workers, as they should. Our companies should prioritize American workers over any other country, because this is your country, man. And you don't get to just have the benefits. Period. You don't get to just have the benefits with none of the cost. I'm sorry, if you have to pay a little bit more for American workers, good. Good. Maybe you make too much money. I don't know. The left is constantly talking about that. Maybe that's something we can agree on. But of course they won't. Because it's something Trump did. And Trump can't do anything right in their eyes. Quote, $100,000 a year for H-1B visas a year. It's not just one time. It's $100,000 a year. So they really will need that H-1B. This is destroyed. This program, it's not destroyed. I think destroyed is the wrong phrase. It's rebalanced and recentered on what it was actually intended for, to supplement, not replace. Quote, Lutnick said during a White House briefing, quote, if you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the greatest universities. Okay. Quote, if you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. The H-1B visa previously carried fees of about 1,500 tech giants such as Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Google, and Amazon have been among the biggest beneficiaries of the program. India has accounted for 71% of approved applications, followed by China at 11.7%. In addition to the new H-1B fee, Trump introduced the, quote, gold card visa, expedited processing for applicants paying $1 million. Corporations sponsoring gold card applicants must pay $2 million. Quote, the gold card will be taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and companies will be able to keep some people that they need, Trump said. Quote, you know, they need people of expertise, great expertise, and it's good. I think it's going to be a fantastic thing. And we're going to take that money and we're going to reduce taxes. We're going to reduce debt, end quote. Good, good. I think this is great. I support this. I've always said we need to hire American. Sure, things will probably get a little bit more expensive, but we're one of the richest countries in the world. I think we can afford it. And I'd rather pay more for goods than to see jobs constantly just given to people from other countries for no reason. A lot of these jobs, not very difficult. You can train somebody to do it. And now they're going to have to pay. Now they're going to have to pay $100,000, $100,000 for every single applicant, every single one, every year. And it starts today. It started technically yesterday, but today. So they're going to have to pay $100,000 a year for every single H-1B that they have. How many job openings? I can't even calculate. Like, there's going to be so many job openings because of this in the STEM field. And moving to the next story from the weekend, update. Man arrested for shooting up Sacramento ABC station had X account full of anti-Trump posts. Initially released, now back in custody. Good. I'm not sure if you guys heard. I heard about this late Friday. Apparently someone in Sacramento randomly decided to just shoot up their local ABC station because that station specifically is the one who pulled Jimmy Kimmel and caused him to lose his job. Clearly, this person thought that. And so this is the gentleman. And when I get into the details, people, it's going to shock you. Not really. It's not going to shock you at all. It's not going to shock you at all to learn that this man is a Democrat and somebody who is involved in education. Oh, goody. So the update to this story apparently is that he's been arrested, which good. I hope they throw the book at him. I hope he goes away for a very long time. Anibal Hernandez Santana, the man charged with shooting at an ABC affiliate station in California on Friday, has a social media profile with a quote steady stream of anti-Trump commentary, end quote, according to the report from Variety. On Friday, law enforcement responded after there were reports of shots at ABC 10, and Hernandez Santana was later booked into Sacramento County Main Jail on a count of assault with a deadly weapon. Variety reported that a LinkedIn account matching the name says that he was a legislative director for the California Federation of Teachers. And how am I not surprised? I'm not surprised in the slightest, actually. This seems pretty much par for the course for Democrats. So this man was driven to such anger over the removal of Jimmy Kimmel's show that he took it upon himself to drive to an ABC station, an ABC station, not ABC, not their headquarters, which even if that was the case, still unacceptable. We don't shoot people we disagree with in this country. The right knows this. The left seems a little hard on the uptake. 64, dude. You're 64 years old. 64-year-old Anibal Hernandez Santana has been arrested for shooting several rounds into an ABC affiliate building. He could have hit someone. And I think that was the intention. And they need to go after him for attempted murder. They need to go after him for aggravated assault. They need to go after him for everything they can possibly throw at him and put him away forever. Sorry, we can't play anymore. An X account matching the profile had a, quote, steady stream of anti-Trump commentary, according to Variety. Quote, the motive remains under investigation, and we would like to thank the FBI for providing resources in support of that investigation. The Sacramento Police Department said in a statement on Saturday, they always say there was no motive. There was no known motive at this time. We don't know what the motive is. Okay. What has happened with ABC in the past few days? That maybe a Democrat would get upset and do something crazy? I mean, it doesn't take much. But has there been anything that you can think of, Mr. Policeman from Sacramento? Yeah, it's clearly because of what happened with Kimmel. Quote, the authoritarian oligarchy is now complete, the X account posted earlier this summer. Yes, it's an oligarchy when the United States unanimously voted him in. Quote, CBS Plus caving, big law firms in D.C., the subservient FBI and AG, university presidents stepping down, fanboys SCOTUS, public radio, ICE goons, we are going to have to, quote, fight like hell. Rules don't apply if election was stolen, fight. So when Democrats lose, the election was illegitimate and it was stolen and they need to fight and kill us. But when a Republican loses and everyone says, hey, this was stolen, we get canceled. We get shut down. We get thrown into the dustbin of history. Yet Democrats get to say it all the livelong day. They said it in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. They demonized the right for doing the same thing in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And then in 2024 happens and they lose, and it's right back to you guys stole this. It's right back to them accusing. They're liars. They are liars. Take anything they say don't take it at face value. Anything they say, don't take it at face value. Do your own research because they will lie to you. This is another one of his posts. Quote, where is a good heart attack when we need it the most? So you lose an election and now you're praying for Donald Trump to have a heart attack. You were pathetic. You were disgusting. And if you see anyone out there, if you see this, you need to shame them. We have to bring shame back. This is disgusting. A 64-year-old man saying this, like I would be able to wrap my head around it if it was a dumb college student who had no idea what they were talking about and just listened to lies. I can understand that because they're stupid. Kids are stupid. I don't care how analytically smart you are. Kids are stupid. But a 64-year-old man who's been in positions of power said this and then mocks thoughts and prayers 8 days after Charlie Kirk's assassination. These people are evil. The right the saying used to be the left thinks the right is evil. The right just thinks the left is wrong. No longer. The right believes the left is evil because the left is evil. The outlet reported that Hernandez Santana studied at UC Berkeley. Why am I not surprised? How am I not surprised that this guy was at UC Berkeley? That he went to UC Berkeley for his degree in city planning and got a law degree at UC Law San Francisco, according to a matching Facebook profile. Hernandez was an avid follower of left wing pundit like Malcolm Nance, who recently spread the lie that Charlie Kirk's assassin was inspired by Groypers, which is complete bullshit. Nance is one of the biggest liars ever. Do you remember him like being in Ukraine going, "Oh, we're being attacked," when he was absolutely nowhere near the fighting? He's just a liar. He's pathetic and he's a loser. Hernandez Santana is being held on $200,000 bail, good, and will appear in court on Tuesday. According to a previously lawsuit Hernandez Santana filed. One of his previous jobs was being a health policy analyst, and it involved the implementation of Obamacare in California. When he was fired from that job in 2018, he got into a verbal dispute with supervisors who eventually called the police on him because this person's not right in the head. This guy's not right in the head. We all know it. It's spread around the country. This mind virus. Like, I mean, Elon put it best. Elon put it best when he called it a mind virus. It is. Trust me. I used to have it. Back in 2016, I called Trump Hitler. I said I was a socialist. I said all the great leftist talking points. I was pro-abortion, believe it or not. I wasn't really into my faith back then. I don't know why I had any of those beliefs. Because the people I was around, because I constantly heard the same thing espoused to me over and over again. My cousin has a video of me and my father fighting, not physically, but yelling at each other. Well, I was yelling, my dad wasn't. Because when you're wrong, and you know you're wrong at your core, and you have nothing to back it up, because again, the left do not have support for their arguments. And when you don't have support, you fall back on, but this is what they said. This is what I've been told. This is what I've been told. This is what I... And it's so much easier to do that. It's so much easier to be a part of the club when you know all the right talking points. And so when they say the right is a cult, they're just telling you what they are. Because the right have many different enclaves of different political beliefs and views, and they don't all agree. The left is a uniformity. You either fall in line or you disappear from the movement. You either fall in line or we slander you, is what the left says. The right doesn't do that. The right says, oh, hey, we agree on this, we agree on that, we don't agree on these things, but hey, welcome to the party. Because the right's a big tent and everyone's invited. As long as you're genuine, yeah. If you want what's best for this country, you want America to be great again, like it was, not talking racism, not talking it, that's all that shit was awful, and I'm glad that we got rid of it. I'm talking about economic prosperity. I'm talking about the spirit of enlightenment. Not crushing people because they're not doing what you want, but telling them, hey, this is the best way to a better life. Let's do it together. But no, the left, they're communist. They're gay race communists. And if you're anything less than that, you're a Nazi, apparently. Next story. AOC claims House resolution honoring Charlie Kirk a reminder of segregation, Jim Crow. Bullshit. Miss me with the bullshit. It's so disgusting that people like this are in our House of Representatives, they're in our Senate, they're in our government, they're in our local government, and they all can't do research, apparently. Because you think if you were going to go on national TV in front of the house and say, "Hey, I believe this thing," do you not think that you should probably do even the smallest modicum of research? Maybe research the guy that you're talking about to see if what you're about to say is full of shit? Because guess what? We have the internet. We can see what you're saying, look up what you're talking about, and go, hey, actually, this is nothing like what you said it was. That's a great picture. Squad member and reportedly hopeful presidential candidate, please Lord no, Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat, New York, took to the House floor on Friday to defend why she voted against a resolution honoring the life of Charlie Kirk, as well as condemning political violence in all its forms. Kirk was assassinated on September 10th when he was shot in the neck by a leftist. Ocasio-Cortez stated on the floor of the House after the vote took place that the, quote, condemning the depravity of Kirk's brutal murder is a straightforward matter, and that people can, quote, disagree with each other, but still, quote, come together as a country to denounce the horror of killing. All of that's true. We can all come together and denounce killing. Killing is wrong. But the left don't care. They don't actually think that killing's wrong. What is it? 36% of the Democrat Party think it's totally okay and acceptable to have political violence? She then attacked Kirk as well as the GOP for bringing the resolution forward. How dare you say we honor this man who was murdered? How dare you? Disgusting. Quote, it then only underscores the majority's recklessness and intent to divide by choosing to introduce this resolution on a purely partisan basis instead of uniting Congress in this tragedy with one of the many bipartisan options to condemn political violence and Kirk's murder, as we did with the late Melissa Horton, Ocasio-Cortez stated, and then claimed the resolution, quote, brings great pain to millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of that bigotry today. I came from the 90s, bro. Racism was dead in the 90s. It was dead up until the 2010s, man. Obama brought it back because he's a communist. He wanted to spread division. He wanted our country to fall to its knees so that they can institute their communist utopia, which will never happen. Communism's dumb. If you like communism, you're stupid. And I feel sorry for you. How in any way did Charlie Kirk make people remember Jim Crow or segregation? This is something said by a stupid person. Someone who can't Google for 2 seconds. We have basically infinite knowledge in these things. You can look up anything. It's kind of crazy. We're some of the first humans to ever exist who can just find something out instantly. That is magic to our ancestors. That is magic. I can go, hey, I want to learn how to do something. Boom. I can look it up. Boom. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I want to know what this ancient person, this wise ancient person said a long time ago. Boom. Google. There it is. Got it. Information. I'm about to vote on whether or not we should honor Charlie Kirk. Maybe I should look into what Charlie Kirk believed. Oh, he wasn't racist. He wasn't a bigot. He just wanted people to follow God. He wanted our country to be great. He wanted people to start families again. Because without families, our country dies. But somehow all those things make people feel as if he celebrated segregation and Jim Crow. What the fuck are you talking about? Sorry for cussing. There are videos of him telling white nationals to leave his event because they were not welcome. He hated racists. He hated racism. And he said, if you look at our DNA, there is nothing that can tell you the race of the person. Maybe which region their DNA comes from. That's it. That's it. You can't tell. If you look at our DNA, you cannot tell the race of a person. And that's what Charlie believed. He believed we were all created in the image of God and we were all worthy of love. And they killed him for it. And then they just drag his name on the House floor. Despicable, reprehensible, and disgusting behavior. But I would expect nothing less from the Democrats at all at this point. Quote, every one of us, as elected officials, has the responsibility to condemn all political violence from wherever it comes, except for you always try to justify it. You go, oh, I condemn violence, but, he did say hateful words. No, he didn't. Where? What hateful words? You mean he said words you don't like? Those aren't hateful words. Those are just words you don't like. Grow a pair, and move on. Congress should have been voting on a unifying resolution to do that, condemning the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk without lionizing his highly controversial speech or actions. What actions? Which speech? Point it. What do you mean? Unfortunately, this Republican resolution was designed as a political gotcha, trying to force every member of Congress to lift up the views of Charlie Kirk rather than simply condemning his assassination. I cannot do that. I'm sorry. How many people in that room, how many people in the Senate, in the House, in our government knew Charlie and were his friend? So yes, they wanted to honor their friend officially. But no, you couldn't let that happen. Because you're disgusting. You are scum. I will pray for you. That's what the right does. We go, I will pray for you. Because you are made in the image of God and you are loved, even though you are disgusting. And that's the grace and glory of God. Only the grace and glory of God can do that, because people, humans, me, I want to hate you for it. I want to hate you for this disgusting display of despicable behavior. A man died. A man was killed in front of his family. A man was killed in front of his family, his wife and kids. And then his friends had to drag his still warm corpse into a car and drive him to the hospital. Why, you ask? Because some dumb leftist didn't like his hurdy words. I don't give a fuck. Excuse my French. I don't give a fuck at this point. Moving on to another member of the squad. We've got ourselves Ilhan Omar in the news. Ilhan Omar defends posting video that blamed Charlie Kirk for his own assassination. I can't even describe the feelings that reading that made me feel, because I'd probably get removed from YouTube. Hi, Rumble. Quote, I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history. Well, Miss Omar, well, then you can go back to Somalia You can go back to that shithole. If you think America's a bad place, you don't need to be here. You have somewhere else to go. But Charlie Kirk and us Americans, we don't. This is our home. And we will prop up the values of our forefathers, the values that ended slavery, the values that ended Jim Crow. For we are not a perfect country, but we are striving for a more perfect union, always. So we will always improve. But this Somali representative wants us to be more like Somalia. I'm sorry, fuck that. My ancestors bled for this precious land. From the beginning. 17th generation. So excuse me if I say fuck you to some Somali representative. She doesn't represent America. She represents Somalia, and she's even said that. It is my let's get widescreen here. It is my personal belief that if you are a first, second, or third generation American, you shouldn't be allowed to hold public office. Period. You can't serve two masters. How many times do you see a representative who says that they want to push their country, and you say their country because it's the one that they actually care about. They want to push their country's values and push to help their country, not this country. No. They don't care about this country. This country is a tool to them. This country is something that they can use to enrich themselves and their family. So excuse me if I don't want people coming here, taking office, and then voting the power away from the American people to Somalia, to somewhere else, doesn't matter, to the Middle East. So no, I think there should be an amendment, something that limits who can hold public office. That you shouldn't be able to run for public office if you are a second or third generation American. Because you will have more than one allegiance. It doesn't matter how little. You will have another allegiance to another country. When you come here and you want to become an American, that means you become an American. And then anything else gets left at the door. That doesn't mean you can't bring your culture. That doesn't mean you can't bring the things that you love from your culture. We want those things. We are a melting pot. Give us the best things. Enrich our culture with yours. But you do not get to subvert, supplant, and remove our culture that our ancestors died for in this country. Period. I will not hear anything about it. Respectfully, I will not hear a damn thing about that. Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar defended her decision to post a video referring to conservative activist Charlie Kirk as Dr. Frankenstein. Despicable. Disgusting. How fucking dare you? The video blames Kirk for his own death, stating that his monster shot him through the neck. His monster? You called him Dr. Frankenstein and referred to the shooter as his monster. Not your monster. Not the monster of the Democrats whose rhetoric over the past decade has said, call the right Nazis and it's cool to kill Nazis. I'm sorry, because he supported gun rights, you say that this is his monster? Fuck you. No. Sorry, no. The Second Amendment is important in this country. And I agree with Kirk. Just because someone crazy does something with a gun does not give you the right and does not mean that we should take the guns away from people who would never do something like that. And on the contrary, would try to stop somebody doing something like that. So no, you don't get to take away guns or advocate to take away guns of innocent Americans who had nothing to do with this. No, maybe we should look at the ideology of the man who did the action, that drove him to do the action, and condemn that. But you don't want to do that because those values that drove him to shoot Charlie Kirk in the neck are your values, Ilhan Omar. Are your values, Democrat Party. Because words are violence. And that's how you justify killing a man. Oh, he said hurty words, so that gives me the right to shoot him in the neck. No, it does not. Not in this country. Not with our First Amendment. Omar appeared on CNN, where host Caitlin Collins pressed her on the post in the days following Kirk's killing. Which, you know what? Hey, say what you want about CNN. That's kind of crazy that they pressed her on that. I think CNN's seeing and noticing the tide shifting, and they're like, oh, maybe we should actually be fair this time and push her. It says, post millennial is really good. Post millennial is great. But they might be giving her too much credit because Caitlin Collins is a horrible human being. She's awful. She's a bad person. Don't want anything bad to her happen to her. No, absolutely not. Just saying she's a bad person. That's all. But it says that she pressed her, and I just don't know how pressed. I haven't seen the video, and I won't. But I'll read the article. Quote, I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein. You don't fucking think? You don't think? You don't say. And said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father. And in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views. No, full stop. This was not, his views had nothing to do with him dying. His views had nothing to do with him dying. His views are the views of millions of Americans, including myself. His views are not a cause to die. The only reason this man is dead now is because a stupid leftist who was indoctrinated in your disgusting ideology killed him. Or happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people. I know you maybe don't understand this being from Somalia, but in this country, you can say whatever you want outside of defamation and calls to violence, and that shit's protected under the First Amendment. And no, the government doesn't give us the right to speak. God does. And the Constitution protects that right from the government. So no, he didn't die for sharing his views publicly with people. That's a tenet of our republic. Not democracy, a republic. Or happened as a result of, as he was sharing his public, or happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of someone's death, Collins said. Quote, what I find jarring is that there's so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said. Like what? No. You made a claim. You made a claim like what? What views were so reprehensible that a man deserved to die, huh? What views did he hold? What views did he hold that meant he had to die? Pathetic. Willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said. Like what? Please give me one example. Full example, not out of context. That they agree with. Reprehensible things that he said, like what? That they agree with that. That they're willing to have monuments for him because he was a good man. He was a genuinely good man that the likes we haven't seen for decades. That they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. Omar responded, quote, "It is one thing to care about his life, but because obviously so many people loved him, and he was a human and an American. That's it. Everything else is extra, including his children and wife." Oh, cool. At least you care about the children and wife. You are a despicable human being. She continued, quote, "I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man had left behind. You mean a legacy of American values? Good, you can leave." You do not get to come here and lecture us. Period. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spread every single day, except for they can't tell you what hate he was espousing. You mean the views that more than half of this country hold? You do not understand what happened yet, do you? You do not understand what the death of Charlie Kirk did. You do not understand the righteous fire that now burns in the heart of millions of people around the world, not just here, not just in the United States. In South Korea, there are people chanting, "We are Charlie Kirk." South Korea, who treat their Christians horribly. Charlie Kirk, before his death, was actually in South Korea, advocating and helping Christians in Korea. And something that you will never see in the news, and you don't hear about at all, is there are more Christians today being persecuted than ever before. From Syria to Turkey, all over the Middle East, Ethiopia, Africa, all over Africa. And in the United States, they say that you should die if you have Christian values. Or don't be surprised if you die for holding Christian and American values. That's what Ilhan Omar thinks. That's what the left thinks. But I'm sorry, as a red-blooded American, I say, fuck you, and you can leave. This is our house, and how dare you disrespect the memory of one of ours? And the final story of the day. President Trump and Elon Musk reunite at Charlie Kirk's memorial. Whatever you think of Trump, whatever you think of Elon, you have to admit they're both extremely powerful men. And I'm happy that they're both on the right. Could you imagine if these forces were on the left? I don't know what we'd do as a country. But look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I think they have a video as well. We'll watch. Not super long. That's amazing. President Donald Trump and former White House special government employee Elon Musk were seen chatting with one another at the Charlie Kirk Memorial in Arizona on Sunday. The two were seen seated next to each other during the memorial service. Quote, "Charlie so badly wanted these two men to come back together. I hope they're saying to each other, for Charlie." Yeah, and they have a video here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Secretary Pete Hansen.
And look at that. That seemed extremely friendly, and I hope it's good news. I hope that means that there's a change, and I can feel it. You can feel it. There's a change in this nation. There's a change in our world. Things are happening, forces are moving. Everyone feels it on both sides. We can all feel that something changed. Something is happening. And I believe that it was, in fact, the Spirit of the Lord. I feel that this feeling is the Lord pouring out his grace. And something that Charlie's friends were talking about on his podcast the other day with Tucker Carlson, in fact, was that now, it's only now that they see what Charlie was. And Charlie was a prophet, not a hocus pocus, I see the future prophet, but a biblical prophet, someone urging people to go back to God, back to Christ, back to the values that built this nation, back to the values that allowed us to end slavery, that allowed us to end Jim Crow, the values that built this nation brick by brick. And I will not listen to this 1619 BS that the left like to push. No. The country started in 1776. Wasn't founded till about a decade later, but we won our independence in 1776. We became a nation in 1776. Many people died to create this nation. And many more people died to end slavery, the bloodiest war in the United States history. In America, we will fight and die for our ideals and our beliefs. Charlie died for his ideals and his beliefs, but his beliefs were greater than the United States. His beliefs were of God, our ultimate creator, the Lord of heaven and everything. And we will make sure that his memory continues. And we will make sure that his mission, the Lord's mission, Charlie's mission, continues. And I want to read a couple quotes here from the Bible. Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. And 2 Corinthians 3:16. But whenever anyone turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Now, people, the Lord is pouring out his grace and mercy in the United States. And it's being reported that churches everywhere, East Coast to West Coast, other nations, are overflowing with people who haven't been to church in years or have never been to church ever. Because the power of Charlie Kirk, the power of a good man, can lead wayward souls back to God. And I believe that was his mission on earth. And I believe that Charlie's death was a part of God's plan. As cruel as it seems in our finite mortal lives, But his death is bringing a revival that we haven't seen in an age. And I pray that even if you're even just an ounce curious, please read the Bible. If you want to talk about it, you want to ask me questions, you would like to go into ministry, and you want to know more, comment down below. Let me know. I'd love to talk to you about God. God is one of my favorite topics of all time, if you haven't noticed by this point. But yeah, that's all I've got for today, guys. And just remember, guys, you were made in the image of God. You are beautiful and you are loved. Thank you for watching. And if you could, please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.